Welcome to the 199th episode of West Wing Week, and by the way, I'm getting another one of these. I tell you, this new Corvette is Z06 is by the way, it's the best buy in America. It's the best buy in America.
Welcome to the 199th edition of the West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. This week, the president announced important reforms to the National Security Agency and new measures to prevent sexual assault, honored Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with a service project at the D.C. Central Kitchen, signed the 2014 Appropriations bill into law to fund the government, and hosted a conference of mayors. That's January 17th to January 23rd, or 199. On Friday, the president traveled east from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue to 600 Pennsylvania Avenue to the Robert F. Kennedy Department of Justice building, where he announced the outcome of an unprecedented review of U.S. intelligence programs to ensure that those programs strike the right balance between protecting our national security and protecting American civil liberties.
The challenge is getting the details right, and that is not simple. In fact, during the course of our review, I've often reminded myself I would not be where I am today were it not for the courage of dissidents like Dr. King, who were spied upon by their own government. And as president, a president who looks at intelligence every morning, I also can't help but be reminded that America must be vigilant in the face of threats.
After the speech, the president dropped by the overflow room to thank the staff of the Department of Justice for their service.
How come you don't have to wear a suit? What's going on?
I think everybody else is overdressed, actually.
By the time the president got back to the White House, Casual Friday still hadn't arrived, but German TV had. A crew from German public broadcaster ZDF was on hand to interview him on the details of the speech he'd given earlier that day. Then the president took a wintry walk over to the new executive office building to sign into law the appropriations bill that funds the government through 2014.
So these are numbers. These are homeless folks who are getting housing. These are a laid-off worker who suddenly is enrolling in that community college and finding that job that allows them to save a home and get back on track. That's some young scientist who's maybe going to find a cure for cancer, Alzheimer's. That's what those numbers represent, and that's because of you.
The president and the first family spent their Monday honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. through service at the D.C. Central Kitchen, which is celebrating its own 25th anniversary. While there, they and other volunteers helped prepare food for the more than 5,000 daily meals that the D.C. Kitchen serves to those in need.
That Martin Luther King asked us, he said, what are you doing for others? And what can you do to give back? The president is here, the first lady and the family. It's just an opportunity to honor Dr. King and give back to the community at the same time.
On Wednesday, the president met with his commission on election administration.
No American should have to wait more than half an hour to vote. And they should know, they should be confident that their vote is being properly counted and is secure.
Later that day, the vice president joined the president, where they spoke on the urgent need to prevent and combat sexual assault.
This is a priority for me, not only as president and commander-in-chief, but as a husband and a father of two extraordinary girls. I've often said in my travels around the world, you can judge a nation and how successful it will be based on how it treats its women and its girls. Those nations that are successful, they're successful in part because women and girls are valued.
Then the president signed a memorandum, creating a task force to protect students in particular, citing a new report that 1 in 5 college women, or 22 million women, have been victims of sexual violence. In the Roosevelt Room, the Iraqi Council of Representatives delegation, the vice president's delegation, and the White House press pool prepared for a meeting between the vice president of the United States and the speaker of the Iraqi Council of Representatives.
To get a better picture.
Thursday was Mayor's Day at the White House, with the president hosting mayors from across the country who were in Washington, D.C. for the 82nd winter meeting of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Also Thursday, the First Lady traveled to a local Subway restaurant here in Washington, D.C., where she announced a 3-year commitment by the restaurant chain and the Partnership for a Healthier America to support her Let's Move initiative and promote healthier food choices to kids. To find out more information on any of these topics or to see complete videos of these events, go to whitehouse.gov. And thanks again for checking out your West Wing Week. Don't forget to tune in next week for the 200th episode of the West Wing Week, where we take you behind the scenes as the president prepares to give his State of the Union address.
It's all right. We gotta move it back. Right?
Yeah. Okay, gentlemen. If you are,
One more.
okay, no, I'm very happy to
This may be,
chat with the president.
no, this may be my guys. Yeah, they try, as I get older, they seem to have more adjustments to the light.